Hello, dear children. Namaste, and welcome to yet another super special session. This is Ambika, your biology master teacher, right here on this super amazing platform, Vedantu 9th and 10th English. Well, guys, all of us are aware of VOTE, right? Vedantu Online Talent Exam, which is happening from the 28th of March till the 18th of April. So always remember, this is not just any exam, it is gonna be a comeback. So do remember this, do keep in mind so many exciting things lined up in store for you. Do not miss out any of those, all right? So yes, today we are going to revise life processes in just 45 minutes. All right. So this can be considered to be a vote workshop because, as you know, vote is very important for all of us. Of course, you guys are going to be giving the exam, but we are completely dedicated to giving you the best educational experience. And as a result, we are giving you revision workshops. So revision of life processes is what we are going to be doing today, and all the details that you need to know about me, it's all mentioned here, right, children? So it's right there. I mean, obviously you guys can read it, but let me just tell you perhaps something that I have not told you on the YouTube platform so far. I'm a postgraduate in marine biology from Cochin University of Science and Technology, and I've been working in the field of education for close to 8 years now. And most of my experience has been in edtech and teaching. So yes, I think that's about it. And I love interacting with children like you all, which keeps me going in an amazing place like Vedantu. Right, guys, today what are we doing? Circulatory system is what we are majorly going to be discussing because it's one of the most important life processes from the chapter. Four major life processes that we have. So today we will talk about transportation in humans, heart structure and function, the blood vessels, as well as double circulation. All right, so let us get started. Now, before we move on, children, just put down, of course, this is a premiere session, as you all know, but where are you from? I would just like to know. Put it down in the chat box right here, and I would love to see that, okay? As in, which part of our country are you from? Not that it's going to make any difference to what I will be telling you, but it makes a huge difference to the overall mood of the session, I think. Okay. So, yes, I would love to see your responses. I will also be watching this with you while it's premiering. So, please give me your responses right now. Now, was 2020 a setback to your learning? Yes or no? Of course, I think in terms of learning, especially, I have asked you this myself when I was on day one of my vote duty, right, a few days back. So all of you agreed that it was definitely a setback. So why do you have to worry? Because along with all other Vedans, all other people, dedicated people at Vedantu, I have pledged for your comeback. And your comeback moment starts right now. What is gone is gone. What is done is done. You guys have amazingly, just overcome all of that. And that has been such a beautiful thing to experience as adults, to see how the young generation of our country has put up with so many challenges. My goodness. And remember, you guys always continue to be very special for us, and that is exactly why we have come up with this idea of vote for you all. So your comeback moment starts right now. The Vedantu Online Talent Exam, these are the dates on which the exams are going to be happening. There are 4 dates that you need to note. Please remember this: 28th of March, 4th of April, 11th of April, 18th of April. All right, so just for you to see, it's right here. Okay, 28th March is going to be the first exam. So do not miss out this, or in case the date is inconvenient for you, remember it's going to be happening on 4th of April, 11th of April, and 18th of April as well, right? Okay, so now what is it all going to be about? On these 4 dates, I have told you it's going to be an all India level live free exam. Okay, so in-depth performance analysis with an all India rank will be the main highlight here. You will get to know your strengths, your weaknesses, where you are, what you can do to improve, and all of that. And look at the next thing: guaranteed scholarship from a pool of over 500 crore Isn't that amazing? That is really, really huge, children. There will be daily challenges to win exciting prizes worth 1 crore. And look at this. This is what I think is the most exciting part. Get to be Vedantu's CEO for 1 day and win a trip to NASA. Isn't that one of the best things that you could ever think about in your student's life? Yes, so many amazing things happening, children. So, yes, this is what in depth performance analysis would mean. An all India rank will be given to you, of course. Subject wise analysis, your state level rank, state wise rank. This is why, remember, I asked you where you are from, and question level analysis as well. All right. So, this is what it is. You can have a look at it entirely. Right. Okay, and as I told you, you can win exciting prizes. You stand a chance to win an all expenses paid educational trip to NASA, which is in the United States of America. And you can also earn V coins and you can win daily prizes. So many exciting prizes that you can see in front of you, right? And as I told you, becoming the CEO for a day is not really a joke. Yes, okay, and apart from all this, all of these exciting prizes and gadgets like drones, telescopes, laptops, so many more by taking up daily challenges. And yes, of course, becoming the CEO of Vedantu, how does it even help? Why would it be exciting? Because you get to share your ideas to change the way millions of students learn online. Do you know that? Do you know how much Vedantu has been lucky enough to contribute to the student community in the last 1 year? It's been amazing, and we are all privileged to have been a part of that. And you now have this golden opportunity to become the CEO of one such place where you can also contribute to making this huge, huge, huge difference, right? Okay, and here we begin. Transportation in human beings. Of course, I am talking about the circulatory system. What is it all about? Transport of various substances in the human body, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, and all of these. How exactly does it do this? It's comprised of, our circulatory system is comprised of the heart, arteries, veins, and capillaries, basically the heart and blood vessels. So many things in our body. And look at the blood. What exactly is the blood? It consists of a fluidy medium. It's a fluid connective tissue, of course, a fluid connective tissue, because it consists of the fluidy medium, which we call the blood plasma. And within the blood plasma, so many different blood cells, including RBCs, WBCs, and platelets, are all suspended. Now, what are the functions of blood? It helps in food transport, carbon dioxide transport, oxygen transport, and even nitrogenous waste transport in the dissolved form. Oxygen transport majorly by red blood cells, which we call erythrocytes, right? What helps in oxygen transport? It's the pigment which we call hemoglobin, abbreviated as HB, which binds to oxygen and as a result helps in transporting oxygen across our body. All right, children. So this is how our blood and our circulatory system works in general. All right. Yes. Now coming to lymph. Of course, lymph is also one major circulatory fluid in our body. It is similar to blood, but one major difference is that it's not going to be red in color. And why so? Because it lacks in RBCs. It doesn't have erythrocytes or RBCs. So how exactly is it formed? This is one question that many children have, right, children? So let me just make it very clear to you. I would have told you this before whenever I taught you this concept of lymphatic system, but let me just make it clear to you because it's one thing that many children wonder. I mean, what exactly is lymph? How is it formed? So what happens is, children, we know that across our body, blood flows under really, really high pressure. Blood flows through the blood vessels under really, really high pressure because your heart is also pumping it under really high pressure with a lot of force. So while passing through the blood vessels, what happens is you must keep in mind that the blood vessels have tiny pores on their walls. The blood vessel walls have got tiny pores on their walls. So this blood which is flowing through these tubes or blood vessels, what happens is it's quite natural that because they are flowing under such high pressure, some bit of it may ooze out through these tiny pores, right? It may ooze out through these tiny pores. But of course, not all the components of blood will manage to ooze out because the pores are really, really tiny. The fluid can, of course, ooze out because it's a liquid. Your white blood cells can ooze out because they are amoeboid in shape. They don't really have a definite shape. So they can also ooze out along with the blood plasma. A few other proteins may also manage to ooze out with this blood plasma. But of course, red blood cells are too big for this. They have a definite shape and structure, and they are too big to squeeze in through these tiny pores. So what happens is, so much of fluid gets accumulated in general spaces around your cells. We call that intercellular spaces or tissue spaces, because it's all random spaces between the cells and tissues of our body, right? So imagine a situation where so much fluid gets accumulated in all those tissue spaces. My goodness, what would it be like? We might literally bloat up, right? With so much fluid retention in our body. But our body, or nature rather, always has a very smart solution to all this whenever it designs living organisms. And that is the lymphatic system. Because in between these tissue spaces, all this fluid gets accumulated. So now we call it tissue fluid when it's accumulated in between these tissue spaces. Now, all this fluid, tissue fluid, enters. There is a set of vessels, tubular vessels, which are there to collect all this fluid, collect all this tissue fluid. Those are the tubes which are associated with the lymphatic system, right? So lymphatic vessels, a system of lymphatic capillaries, a system of lymphatic vessels, they can collect this tissue fluid. Now this same tissue fluid, once it is inside these tubular structures of the lymphatic system, we call the same fluid lymph, right? We now call it lymph, right? And of course, it passes through a set of lymphatic capillaries, through lymphatic vessels, and just circulates around the body. Eventually, keep in mind that it will join the rest of the body's circulation. But it's super duper important because it has a lot of checkpoints. We call them lymph nodes, okay? I'm giving you this just for additional information. All those lymphatic nodes have the ability to filter out a lot of unwanted pathogens and a lot of unwanted stuff which are probably getting collected in the lymph. And the cleansed lymph, or the cleansed fluid, or at least a lot of the lymph minus a lot of the pathogenic substances, gets pumped back into the general circulation of the body. Okay, so this is about the lymphatic system. It plays a major role in the immune system. As I told you, this is how it helps it, right? Because at the lymph nodes, there are a lot of lymph nodes in your body, like so many of them. Some of them are found near, some of the major ones are found near your throat region. So in those areas, there could be a little bit of swelling up whenever there is an infection in the body, because a lot of those pathogens might get accumulated over there, because your lymph nodes are trying to filter them. They are acting like checkpoints so that the infectious agents don't circulate across your entire body, right? So this is why they play a major role in the immune system. Obviously, considering the components, they would contain less proteins than blood, all right? Yes. So this is about the lymph and how it works in association with the blood to maintain your body's circulatory system. Now talking about the heart is a very, very important organ of our body. I would say it's one of the most hardworking organs of our body, right? So it's a muscular organ which is made up of cardiac muscles, which are involuntary muscles. Continuously, they work hard. This heart is roughly the size of our fist, a closed fist. All right. Now, let's just recall the structure of the heart. It's comprised of 4 chambers. What are they? I'll just draw it here like this. Yes, I'll just draw it here like this. The 4 chambers of the heart would be the right atrium, the right ventricle, and the left atrium and the left ventricle. All right. So this is what your heart is comprised of. And then apart from this, of course, it's got the set of blood vessels to help in transport of blood. And remember, it's got these 4 chambers so that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood can be separate. They don't mix up as a result of this design. Remember, contraction of your heart is called systole. And relaxation is what we call diastole. Systole is contraction, diastole is relaxation. All right, systole and diastole, very, very important terms that we need to know. Now about the blood vessels. Remember, there are 3 major types of them: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries, always remember, they carry blood away from the heart. Away from the heart. Right? So they are really, really thick walled because from the heart to the different parts of the body, they have to pump blood. So in order to withstand that high pressure, arteries have been designed to be much thicker walled than any other types of blood vessels. And in general, they carry oxygenated blood because from the heart to the rest of your body, it's majorly oxygenated blood that our bodies, tissues and cells would need, right? But there is an exception over here. Pulmonary artery is a major exception, is the only exception rather. Because the pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. So this is how I would like to describe it. Heart to the rest of the body is what arteries do. And that too, oxygenated blood. And apart from this, between the heart and the lungs, there is a separate pathway. Right? This is what the pulmonary artery does. Arteries, especially the aorta in this case, right? The pulmonary artery carries blood from the heart to the lungs, and that's a separate VIP relationship that they have. Very, very good friendship between the heart and the lungs because heart is sending its deoxygenated blood to its best friend so that its best friend can mix in some oxygen with that blood and send it back to your heart. What do your veins do? They are really, really thin walled and they carry blood from your body to the heart. So obviously it has to be deoxygenated blood because your body has used up all that oxygen which came in, and now all the deoxygenated blood, the veins are carrying it back to your heart. Right? So again, here there is an exception because it is pulmonary veins which are an exception. They carry oxygenated blood from the lungs. This would be the lungs, okay? My representation of lungs. From the lungs to the heart, pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood. All right? So this is it. And capillaries are, of course, very, very thin-walled blood vessels, and they are responsible for supplying blood to every cell and tissue of the body. So 3 major blood vessel types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Right? Remember, arteries away, AA. Arteries stand for away. Away from what? Away from the heart, of course. That much you have to remember, okay? So obviously veins would be the opposite of that. Now, arteries versus veins. The major difference, you could take a screenshot of this and keep it in handy. The major difference between these two. Remember, one is carrying blood away from the heart, the other one is carrying blood towards the heart. And about the pressure with which they pump blood and all of that is mentioned here. One major thing you need to note here is that in arteries, valves would be absent. Valves are absent. But in veins, valves are present to prevent backflow of blood. Because veins are actually pumping blood against gravity. Right? Even from the bottom parts of your body, like your legs, your feet and all of those, they are carrying blood towards the heart from the bottom to the top of your body, which means it's against gravity. How does it manage? It's because of the valves which are present. All right. And about whether they carry oxygenated or deoxygenated blood, remember the exceptions: pulmonary artery and the pulmonary veins. Right, children? Go through this and we can move ahead. All right, now tell me the answer to this. Can you identify these blood vessels? Am I blocking your view? Okay, I'll give you a small hint. Here is the hint. Do you see that structure over there? It's been circled. This is the hint. What blood vessels are they? Yes, I'm not asking you about the absolute specific, like the subclavian and the jugular, and I'm not asking you for names like that. But what are the three major names we've learned? From those, what are these two? Yes? Okay, I'll number them as A and B. What is A and what is B? A is a vein because the structure here is a valve. When a valve is present, it has to be a vein. And the other one, because it lacks valves, it has to be an artery. Right, children? Yes, absolutely. Now, this is about the difference between veins and arteries. Now, coming back to vote, let's take a very, very short break, a very quick break. And children, those of you who joined the session late, I'm telling you right now about the exam format for VOTE, Vedantu Online Talent Examination. And it's going to comprise of two sections, MAT and SAT. Okay, so mathematical aptitude and scholastic aptitude, obviously. So in the SAT section is where you need expertise with subjects like science, and it will comprise of 70 questions. And this is going to be the marking scheme. Okay, 4 marks for every right answer, -1 for the wrong answers. Okay, so remember, it's going to really, really test your understanding, test your knowledge, and the duration is going to be 75 minutes. Okay, duration is going to be 75 minutes, and these are the major things you need to know here. Excited to make a comeback, right? I'm definitely excited thinking about the impact that vote is going to create in all of you. My goodness, seriously. Wow. Okay, right. Coming back into our revision workshop, right? Life processes is where we are, and talking about the circulatory system. Look at this. This is how your beautiful heart looks while it works really, really hard. Conduction of your heart is a beautiful thing to look at. Pumping of the atria, contraction of your atria, and filling up of blood in your ventricles, and then filling up, and then contraction of your ventricles, and pumping of blood to the different parts of your body. That is what you see here. Ventricles are relatively much thicker walled as compared to the auricles because they have to pump blood to the different body parts, right? And there are also valves which are present in your heart and veins so that backflow of blood can be prevented, right? So there are valves which are the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve. I would say, remember it this way. This is the right auricle, this is the right ventricle, the left auricle and the left ventricle. Between the right auricle and the right ventricle, there is what we call the tricuspid valve. Okay, tricuspid valve, so that backflow of blood can be prevented. So that from the ventricle into the auricle, blood doesn't flow. Because from auricle to ventricle, ventricle to every cell of your body, every part of your body, that's how the pathway has to be. So this is your tricuspid valve. Remember, it is RTR. Okay, and here it's going to be, oh, why did I write it as V? Okay, has to be an L. This is going to be the, what valve is it going to be? The bicuspid valve, LBL on the left side. Left atrium, bicuspid valve, and the left ventricle. The bicuspid valve, for your information, let me remind you, it's also called by another name. It's also known as the mitral valve, the bicuspid or the mitral valve. Right? So LBL, RTR. Remember that, create your own mnemonic, however you want to think of it. I don't care. But just remember, this is where you find them, tricuspid and bicuspid valves. All right? Yes, now you have a task. Label the heart correctly. Yes, look at them. I've given you options as well. So let us call this A, this box as B, and this as C. And give me the answer. What would you fill up in A, B, and C? Yes, 2 boxes have already been filled in for you, atria and the inferior vena cava. What would you fill up in A? What would come in B? And what would be C? The options for you are, yes, have a look at the options there. Tricuspid valve, pulmonary artery, and the ventricles. Match them to A, B, and C. Tricuspid valve, pulmonary artery, and ventricles. Do you see them? Yes? Of course, right? And your time is up. The answer is right here for you. Yes, children? Look at this. Pulmonary artery is what this is. Why so? Because it's pumping blood from your right atrium to your lungs. That's why it's blue in color, right? Remember, pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. Atria had already been marked for you, so that's fine. So this was A for you. And this was B. Tricuspid valve. Remember RTR. Right atrium, right ventricle, separated by, not exactly separated by, guarded by, the opening between them is guarded by the tricuspid valve. And then the bottom chambers, which are C, the ventricles. And the bottommost is the inferior vena cava, which was also mentioned earlier. Right? So this is how you need to understand the structure of the heart. But remember, for the VOTE exam, you will not be asked to draw it, but you must learn the labels of it right in the right manner. Right? Okay. So here is your quiz. Yes, children, I have a few questions for you. Which valve is present in the right side of the human heart? Bicuspid valve, mitral valve, tricuspid valve, or both A and C? What do you think would be the answer? Which valve is present in the right side of the human heart? R-R. What would you fill up in the dash? You want to have a look at all the options? I can switch sides. Yes, A, B, C, or D. What do you think would be the answer? Your time is up. The answer is tricuspid valve, RTR, tricuspid valve. Okay. Next one. What prevents backflow of blood inside the heart during contraction? The valves in the heart, the thick muscular walls of the ventricles, thin walls of the atria, or all of the above? What prevents backflow of blood inside the heart during contraction? Yes. That's an interesting question, right? Preventing backflow of blood. Your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and the answer is valves in the heart, of course. Preventing backflow of blood is always the job of valves. All right, so now look at this. Among these, which blood vessel carries deoxygenated blood? The artery, vein, and capillary, the structure is mentioned here for you. Which of them would carry deoxygenated blood in general? In general. You don't need more time. Your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer would be the vein, except, of course, the pulmonary arteries and veins, right? Okay, right. Now, look at this. In one of Vedantu's master classes, Master Teacher Divya explains the 3D model of a heart. During the quiz, this question was asked. Could you try and answer the same question? Yes. Which of the following statements is true about arteries? Yes, which of these would be true about arteries? Arteries possess thick elastic walls, blood flows under high pressure, collect blood from different organs and bring it back to the heart. That's one statement. Look at the next one. Arteries possess thick elastic walls without valves inside. Blood flows under high pressure and carry blood away from the heart to different parts of the body. Okay. Next, thin walls of arteries have valves inside and blood flows with low pressure and carry it away from the heart to different organs. Oh my goodness. You need to pay really, really close attention to these statements so that you don't go wrong. Okay. The next option is they possess thick elastic walls, blood flows under low pressure, carry blood from the heart to various parts of the body. What do you think would be the answer to this? Yes, which of them is a true statement about arteries? Those are the key words there. True statement about arteries. Yes, any idea? All right, and your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is option B. How come it's option B? Yes, arteries possess thick elastic walls without valves. Look at that. Inside, and blood flows under high pressure. And the next part of it is they carry blood away from the heart to the different parts of the body. Look at compare A and B. In A, it says collect blood from different organs and bring it back to the heart. Is that true about arteries? No. Collecting blood and bringing it back to the heart is the job of veins and not the job of arteries. All right. So B becomes the answer. Of course, I think C and D are not even an option because thin walls. First, of all, they are not thin-walled, they are thick-walled. So obviously over there, you are eliminating it right away. So I've told you why A is not the answer. Now I'm telling you why C is not the answer. First of all, majorly because the first word, thin walls, definitely not matching with artery. Then, thick elastic walls, blood flows under low pressure. No, no, blood flows under very, very high pressure and not low pressure. So that's wrong as well. B becomes the answer beyond any doubt. Right, children. So about vote. I'm sure many of you might want to know more. Wait till the end of the class, all right? And there's also a link which we've given in the description box below, vedantu.com/vote. You can check it out in case you are like unable to hold the excitement. Okay, so until now, what have we done? We have spoken about the structure of the heart, right? We have spoken about the chambers. We have spoken about the blood vessels, and we've spoken about the different valves, right? Majorly, what are valves involved in? That's about it, and the major exceptions in terms of blood vessels. Now, the special relationship between the heart and the lungs. Look at that. Yes, the right pulmonary artery, the left pulmonary artery, the right lung, the left lung, so many things which are mentioned out here for you. Do you see that? Yes, I told you they are the best of friends, and there is a major special relationship that exists between the heart and the lungs. Right, children? So try identifying what you could possibly fill up in those boxes. You could put them out there in the chat box. So I will have a look at it while the session is premiering, which means right now when you're watching this. Okay, so this is what double circulation is. Children, a few major facts that you need to know about circulation. First of all, the blood flows twice through the heart. And as a result, we call it double circulation in human beings. The same blood passes twice through the heart, one in the form of deoxygenated blood. The second time when it comes back to the heart, it is oxygenated. As a result, we call it double circulation. In one cardiac cycle, blood flows twice through the heart. And what is the normal heartbeat? This is what I've told you now. Normal heartbeat, yes, it is about 72 beats per minute. Try this out for yourself by counting your own heartbeat, keeping a timer, and see if this aligns with it, okay? In case of too much deviation, probably time to think about better dietary habits, better lifestyle habits. Okay, next one. In one cardiac cycle, heart pumps out 70 ml of blood, and thus about 4900 ml blood in 1 minute. Yes, in one cardiac cycle is how this happens. So just do the math for yourself and you will see what exactly all this means. Okay, so double circulation, how exactly does it work? All right, there's a typo over there. It's pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. So between the heart and lungs, it is pulmonary. Pulmonologist is a doctor who deals with your lung health, and systemic circulation is between the heart and the rest of your body. Right? So this is super duper important for you to know what exactly happens in this process. So why is this important? Why is double circulation important? Because in higher organisms like birds and mammals, we have really, really high energy needs. And as a result, our bodies are not designed in such a manner that we can afford the time to, separate out that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. No. In fishes and amphibians and all of those, their energy requirements and metabolic needs are a lot different from higher organisms like mammals and birds. So in our case, double circulation ensures complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. And this is necessary for optimal energy production. Separation of deoxygenated and oxygenated blood. So how exactly does it work? Children, I will tell you that. So remember, whenever you have to mention how double circulation works, yes, this is how you need to start off. Okay, first of all, remember the deoxygenated blood from the body is coming into your right atrium. So from the body into your right atrium, deoxygenated blood is brought in by the inferior vena cava and the superior vena cava. This is the first step. right? Because in your body, as I told you earlier, there's only deoxygenated blood after all the metabolism that has happened in the different cells, right? So this deoxygenated blood is brought into the right atrium by your vena cava, right? This is step one. Second step, from your right ventricle, look at this. In your right atrium, deoxygenated blood has been filled up. When the atria contract, that blood passes on to the right ventricle. And the ventricles contract, this blood passes out from the heart. But because it's deoxygenated blood, it can't be pumped again to the rest of the body, right? It has to take the help of its best friend, which is the lungs. Which are the lungs? So from the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood is carried by the pulmonary artery to the lungs. To the lungs. So the lungs are able to oxygenate this blood, and what happens next? The oxygenated blood from the lungs, let me change color of my pen right now. Probably, yes. Where is mine? Okay. Probably I will have to use a different color, which is okay, just a second, children. I will come back to it. All right, a little harder to see. Okay, let's use bright red for now. Yes. All right, so now we have the capillaries of your lungs, which have oxygenated the blood. And the pulmonary veins are carrying that oxygenated blood and pumping back the oxygenated blood into the left atrium. And when the atria contract, from there it moves down to the left ventricle. And when the ventricles contract, the aorta, which is the biggest artery of the human body, carries it to the rest of your body. And the cycle just continues. Right, children? So this is how the schematic representation of double circulation would mean in the human body. This is how things work, right? So once again, let me tell you, starting off with filling up of deoxygenated blood, bringing off deoxygenated blood from your different body parts by the vena cava into your right atrium. Atria contract. Remember, when I say atria contract, simultaneously right atrium and left atrium are pumping whatever they have into the respective ventricles. But right now we are focusing on one side at a time so that you guys don't get confused. All right. So from the right atrium, deoxygenated blood flows into the right ventricle. When the ventricles contract, from the right ventricle, deoxygenated blood passes through the pulmonary artery into your lungs. They get oxygenated, and the oxygenated blood comes through the pulmonary veins into your left atrium. Coming back, when your atria contract, of course, right atrium has pumped in its share of deoxygenated blood, but the left atrium pumps down oxygenated blood into your left ventricle. Now, when your ventricles contract, from there to the aorta to the rest of your body. That's about it. As simple as that, right? Okay, now it's time for yet another quiz. Check this out. The blood vessel which carries deoxygenated blood, what would that be? Pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, capillaries, or both A and B? Yes, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, capillaries, or both A and B. Which of them carries deoxygenated blood? All right, and your time ends in 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is pulmonary artery. For those of you who clicked on both A and B, one ear twisting activity from my side. Okay, because many people have this misconception that whenever there is an option, both A and B or both B and C, don't even read through it. That has to be the answer. No, children. Remember, questions can be a little tricky and confusing. Here the answer is pulmonary artery carrying deoxygenated blood. Now the next one. Pulmonary vein in the human body, what does it carry? Deoxygenated blood, lymph, oxygenated blood, or impure blood? What would it be? Yes, read through all the 4 options, A and C, which you see right now. Or do you think it's going to be B or D? Yes. Okay. Your time is up. The answer is oxygenated blood. It's going to be the opposite of pulmonary artery, right? Because it's coming back into your heart from the lungs. Now, oxygenated blood from the lungs comes to dash. Right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, or the left ventricle. What would it be? Oxygenated blood from the lungs comes to which of these chambers of your heart? That's also a very, very good question. So that you know the actual flow of double circulation, flow of blood. Yes, children? So it's right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. All right, your time's up. The answer is left atrium. Okay, in case you're still confused, go back and watch the replay of the session. Okay, pulmonary vein in the human body carries which of these? I think I've already asked you this, but let's just see if you guys are answering it properly this time. Deoxygenated blood, lymph, oxygenated, or impure blood? Pulmonary vein. Okay, lesser time this time. 3, 2, 1, and go. The answer is oxygenated blood from your lungs into your left atrium. Keep that in mind. So what have we discussed today? Circulation in human beings. We've seen the structure of the heart, the structure of the human heart, right? The next one would be everything about the heart, right? The chambers, the blood vessels, the different differences between arteries and veins, and all of that. And of course, about double circulation, which is comprised of pulmonary and systemic circulation. Pulmonary and systemic circulation. Pulmonary is between your heart and lungs. Systemic between your body and the heart. The rest of your body apart from the lungs and heart. Okay, this is what we've discussed today. I hope this has given you a very, very good revision. Now are you all set to make a comeback? Yes, I think you guys must be much better confident right now. So please, please, please register for Vote right now. This is what has to be in your to-do list. Okay, register for Vote. Vedantu Online Talent Exam. So download the Vedantu Live Learning app, or you can also visit vedantu.com/vote so that you can register right now. So how exactly does it work? Register and create your voter ID card. Okay, so how exactly do you do this? So you just need to register by giving in all your appropriate details. Confirm all your details, your name, which grade you belong to, which board you belong to, and your target exam, CBSE 2021 or 2022, whatever it may be. Put up all the details and that's it. You're done. Your voter ID card is ready. And after this, what do? Choose your vote days. As I told you, it's going to be happening on 4 days. Remember, 28th of March, 2021, 4th of April, 2021, 11th of April, and 18th of April. 4 different Sundays on which it's going to be happening. And pick your vote days. Okay, this is going to be your responsibility. Do this right after your voter ID card is ready and you will be done. All right, and when you have the opportunity of winning so many daily prizes by taking up a lot of daily and weekly challenges, apart from the main prizes, of course, as you can see, so many exciting things in store for you. Yes, so apart from all this, you must have heard about squads. What exactly are squads? Remember, you have the opportunity of earning V coins and getting rewards. My squad. This is the option that you see here. Create squads and win a lot. So what exactly do? Invite your friends to form a squad along with you to win much bigger and exciting prizes weekly. So you will see all these options while you register for Vote. You can click on create your squad and go ahead by following all the instructions how to win big with squads. That's another exciting thing. Read through all this, children. Every detail is right here for you in a transparent manner. Create or join a squad, solve weekly challenges, earn additional V coins and win exciting prizes every single day. Right, children? You can create your own squads, logos, so many exciting things. Wow, wow, wow. Yes, I would have loved this if I was a student right now, right? And your squad slogan, wow, look at that. Samajh aayega to maza aayega to samajh aayega. That's just an example which is there, but completely up to you. And this is like a team effort, right? It's not just going to be like an individual thing. As you can see, makes a huge difference when you work as a team. So all the best, my dear children. So I would love to meet you all, make an energetic comeback in the year 2021. So remember, we are here to support you entirely. Vote is one of the major ways by which Vedantu is going to be helping you make a major, huge comeback this year. So that's about it from my side. take care, stay happy, and stay healthy until we meet again. This is Ambika signing off. Bye bye.